Hi, everyone. Welcome to Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. Today is May 24th, 2022, and this will be episode 131, season 6. And today I will talk about the Dixie Square Mall that was located in Harvey, Illinois, and it had quite a history. And I will talk about its beginning and during what happened to it and its aftermath. It's very intriguing and very, like I said, very interesting. Sorry about that. Also, I'll talk about a few items I posted last week on my Facebook page on Vanished Chicagoland. And right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Mug-a-Lunch. And it's from Betty Crocker. And here's a commercial from 1979. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Wow, macaroni and cheese. Mine's spaghetti.
Beef noodles? My wife's a magician.
The trick is new Mug-a-Lunch from Betty Crocker. 3 tasty hot dishes you make in a mug, 1 helping at a time. Just add boiling water, wait 4 minutes, stir, and eat. Spaghetti and rich tomato sauce, creamy macaroni and cheese, hearty beef noodles. Also delicious, it isn't magic that makes them disappear.
Mug-a-Lunch, new from Betty Crocker.
Build your fits of the day with Abercrombie's newest denim drop. I'll tell you where to start. Abercrombie's 90s straight jean goes with any shirt from tees to sweater polos. Super versatile. Their loose and baggy jeans are more trend forward, so I grab those when I go out with friends. Right now, get 25% off on almost everything at Abercrombie. Offers valid in stores and online January 23rd, 2025 to January 28th, 2025. In U.S. and Canada, exclusions apply as indicated. Online price reflects discount.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Mug-a-Lunch. I remember this food item very well when I was growing up. I never had it. And as it said in the commercial, they had 3 kinds. They had, 3 meals. Macaroni and cheese, spaghetti with sauce, and beef noodles and gravy. I like the macaroni and cheese. That sounds good. I was in the hospital about last month. And one of the the items on the menu was macaroni and cheese. I haven't had it in a long time, so I got that, and it was pretty good. I didn't eat all of it because I still didn't have an appetite, but it was fine. And but the Mug-a-Lunch lasted through the 80s, and it was it started late 70s, all throughout the 80s. Excuse me. And I don't know what other kinds they used. Maybe they did later on. I'm not sure. But those were the 3 main meals that Mug-a-Lunch provided. So according to the internet, some people loved it. Some people thought it was terrible. But, depends on your taste, on people's taste, that is. So, oh well. That's how it is. It's just it reminds me of Lipton's cup of soup. That's what it does. It reminds me of that. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I said I will talk about the Dixie Square Mall, in Harvey, Illinois, and I will do last week's posts on Vanished Chicagoland. I will do that first. First, I'll mention my health briefly. I'm doing much better. Everything's doing fine. At the end of the week, I will go for a blood test, and then because. Well, the doctor said I would go Monday, but he forgot it was Memorial Day, so that's closed. So I'll go Friday, and then when I go see him on June 1st, next Wednesday, we'll discuss the procedure that I'll have. It'll be scheduled June 9th, and I hope it's sooner because I'm not looking forward to it, but I want to get it over and done with so I can move on, and hopefully I would be much better. But I'm doing okay. I have the kidney stone, and I don't feel any pain at all. Nothing. I'm okay. All right. Now we'll talk about last week's posts on Vanished Chicagoland. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last episode, but I will anyway. No, I don't think I did. I found a receipt on eBay from Canfield's Soda from 1964, and it was interesting. They list all the wonderful sodas, all the flavors, like 50-50, Ginger ale, root beer. They had orange soda, grape sodas. I think. Remember, it was honeybee soda. Diet chocolate fudge was not there, not yet. And let's see what else. They had punch, cream soda, strawberry, lemon lime. Let's see what else. Oh, cola flavor. Forgot about that. And there was a flavor called Uptown. I'm not familiar with that. I don't remember that at all. I had to look it up. I think somebody told me it was like lemon lime. Because I created a video about Canfields, a 4-part video. You can find it on YouTube under my name, Picastanis. But I did not include Uptown. It got away from me, so whoops. Sorry about that. Okay. And once I posted this receipt on my page, a lot of people say, yeah, Canfield's still around, elsewhere, Las Vegas, California, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I know. But we're talking about Chicago. The original, the best, the very best. Now today is like, okay. But it's from a different company now, but it's not like here, where it was well known and made in Chicago. All right. Let's see what else we got. Last week was, on the same day as the 10th anniversary of Vanished Chicagoland, it was also the 100th birthday of WGN Radio. And they celebrated that all day on television, of course, on radio. And I found a newspaper administration handbook from the Chicago Tribune. And I thought it had something to do with the radio. But it's sort of like that. But it really was with the newspaper. Because that's where they got the call letters for radio. It was world's greatest newspaper from Chicago Tribune. And I was a guest on WGN Radio back in October 2014 when my Facebook page really took off. I was invited by Bill and Wendy. That's Bill Leff and Wendy Snyder, two wonderful people. And they interviewed me. It was called Chicago Extinct Businesses at the time. You can still listen to it. It's still online. If you do a search on WGN Radio with Chicago Extinct Businesses, it's there and you can hear me. I'm very nervous on the radio. I'm such a novice, I'm such a beginner. So I tried my best, but I had fun. I really had fun. And let's see what else. Oh, I had a Creature Features ad from Friday, and it was the 1941 movie Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, this starred Spencer Tracy, not the original one. That was 1932. That starred Frederick March, and he was a wonderful actor. He played that role beautifully, and it was like a horror movie. But Spencer Tracy played this. He was okay, but I preferred the older one. And there were other movies made, but it was very good. But it does start with Ingrid Bergman, and I think somebody else. I can't remember. I can't think of it. Alana Turner. But the first one, 1932, that starred Frederick March and I think Miriam Hopkins. That's a classic. They showed that in TCM, and I don't know if they showed it on Creature Features. Maybe they did. I don't remember. I never saw the movie on Creature Features. I've seen the movies elsewhere. So it's a classic story, classic horror movie story. Horror story. Excuse me. It's great. It holds up today. It's wonderful. But it was scary when I was a kid when I watched it. Also, I posted an ad for Dressel's Bakery from May 17, 1987, and people still miss this place. They miss this bakery, and so do I. With the chocolate fudge cake with the whipped cream. You can still get that at Wolf's Bakery in Evergreen Park on 95th Street. I have not gotten it yet. I heard it's pricey. Someone told me $30. That's a lot. I don't know if it tastes the same. Some people claim it does. Some people say no, but I don't know. I have to be the judge for myself. I have to go see or buy the cake and eat it. And then I will someday. And then if I do, maybe I'll do it and then I'll say it on the podcast. I tried this cake and it's almost identical to the original recipe. It's been years since I had that. A lot of people. Last time I had it was probably in college. And my mother used to buy this cake at Jewel. There was a Jewel at Fort City. Also, there was a Jewel on 84th and Pulaski on the south side. And I think it's sometimes at Dominic's that was found, but they also had outlet stores. And they had an outlet store on 91st and Cicero in Oak Lawn. I remember that. But all of them gone. That's a shame. Also, I posted a postcard of Evanston, Illinois. It was not the downtown area. It was on Sherman Avenue where there was the Varsity Theater. A lot of people remember that. And I said it was from 1960, but the thing is, it was postmarked 1960. Actually, the postcard, the photo is from the 50s. That's what it looks like. Some people said that. I apologize. And it's real cool. I haven't been to Evanston in a long time. I like it, but it's changed so much. And that's what people claim. And once Old Orchard opened in Skokie, the business has suffered a little bit. That's what I've heard, according to some people. And it's still a desirable place to shop. And they have wonderful restaurants. I like it. And it's by the lake. You have Northwestern University. It's a beautiful campus. You know, I haven't been there in a while, but I like that over there. And the homes are gorgeous along the lake. Beautiful. Beautiful. And let's see, what else? Yesterday, I posted a menu called Mr. Chicken. I never heard of this place. I made a goof. I put the address 14 West Superior. It wasn't West Superior. It was West Division. It was late at night, and I couldn't see very well. I was tired. Superior was the phone number. It was the telephone exchange. Some people remember this place. It was from probably late 50s, early 60s, probably the 60s. I never did. And, you know, it was cheap, and it sounded delicious. They had roasted chicken, roasted shrimp dinner, and perch. I like perch. And didn't last long, so sounded good. You know, fast food back then was tastier and good. Now, it's okay. Still get hankering, but it's not like the old days. Okay. So that's all for the post. And now I will discuss Dixie Square Mall. And first off, I never shopped there. Never went there. I used to hear about it when I was a kid and from people. And I will start its beginning. And I also found a directory of the mall that had the stores listed at the time. And so I'll do a quick run through of the history, and then I will do the directory, and maybe it'll bring back memories of the places. Some people still miss it. It was very unique at the time. Okay. So the mall opened in 1966, and it was located at 151st Street and Dixie Highway. That's a road down there. And the mall had department store anchors. It had Montgomery Ward, Montgomery Ward, JCPenney. It had Woolworths and Walgreens and Jewel. It had a grocery store. Turnstile came later, in 1970, and they had a big fanfare when it opened. And it was only operating for about 12 years, very short time. And it had, when it was built, it was plagued with problems from the beginning. It really was. I think it's jinxed for some reason. And it closed about 1978 or 79. And there's a story about, we know about the Blues Brothers. I'll get into that in a moment. And into the decades where just when it was vacant, it just fell apart, and it just got worse, and it was in disrepaired, and they just left it idle. And finally, it was the demolition started in February 12, and it was completed the same year. And now it's a brownfield. It's empty. It's gone. There were plans to rebuild it all throughout the years. Nothing came of it. There was nothing successful. I don't know. It just there was a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of political stuff going on. I don't know the whole details about that, but I don't know. It's just they wanted to build something there. There was a rumor they were going to build a Walmart or Target. Nothing happened. Okay. So here we go. Before the mall, it was called the Dixie High 9-hole golf course. It was a golf course then. Okay, I didn't know that. And the construction started in about 1964, very late in the year. And believe it or not, they had a store opening. I know it. Like the grand opening was in 1966, but they had like a soft opening when Montgomery Ward opened in 65 in October. And they had an open with 36 stores, and they had a time capsule, and it was sealed, and it was placed by Mel Torme. Do you remember the singer? He was from Chicago. The Velvet, what was it called? The Velvet Fog, or his name. He was a good singer. He's best well known as on Night Court. He played Harry Anderson's father. A lot of people from the 80s, but he was a good singer. And also was Carmelita Pope. She was a famous actress, from Chicago. She's famous for doing a lot of commercials. I remember she did Pam commercials, with non-sticking Pam. You can find that on YouTube. And the grand opening celebrations featured a lot of people. There was Homer and Jethro. They were a duo. They were popular in the 60s, and some other people. And also Ned Locke, Ringmaster Ned from Bozo Circus. He was there. I think I had an ad somewhere, and he had that. And they added more stores by 1968. And like I said before, Turnstile was added in 1970. Okay. So I have the directory right here. This is from when it was open. I didn't find a directory that would later on. So I'll just do that. And so here are some businesses that were there. I'll read off a few. And let's see. I'll read off some that you can recognize. And a lot of people know. And there was a Fannie Mae candy store. There was a Harvest House restaurant. We had the one in Fort City. Remember that. They also had Hickory Farms. Remember that. Kinney Family Shoes. Remember Kinney Shoes? With Ken Berry dancing in the commercials. Yeah, he was good shoe store. Bought a lot of shoes there. Radio Shack. Richmond Brothers. Do you remember that? Okay. They had a florist shop. Shoe repair. Like a beauty salon. They had Carol's Menswear. Remember Carol's? They had a barbershop. Mary Lester Fabrics. Remember that? A lot of women remember that. That was in the early 70s. Okay. They had Pope Brothers there. I did not know that. Yeah. And a record store. They had a record store at Pope Brothers. They had jewelry stores. Wurlitzer. I had a Wurlitzer store in Fort City. I remember that. They had a restaurant called Armand's. They had a Baskin Robbins. There was another shoe store called Birch Shoes. I remember that. They had a cocktail lounge. There's also a store called CoverGirl. I remember it. I've seen it somewhere. I'm on the north side. Other shoe stores, they had Hardy Shoes, Howard's Family Apparel. Let's see. Robin Hood Shoes, Shift Shoes, where I lived in Roseland. That was a shoe store. It was below us in our apartment where my dad owned. And, they were from Columbus, Ohio. But they had stores all over the Chicagoland area. Yeah, they had good shoes. They had a bowling center. No, I'm sorry, sewing center. They had a Singer store where they, for the sewing machines. They had a card shop. They also had a Watland's camera. Some people might remember that. They had a currency exchange, and also that you took a place where your kids can get pictures, family pictures. Let's see what else. They also had a post office and a bank, the First State Bank of Harvey. All right. So by the early 70s, crime was increasing, and it got worse as time went on. There was a lot of incidents that happened. Some people got shot. A woman got raped. And there was a teenage girl that got strangled. That's horrible. Horrible. It got worse, and A lot of people didn't go because they were scared to death to go there. It's frightening. I understand that. And so they lost many stores from 1973 to 1978, and Montgomery Ward closed. That was the first one that closed in 76. Turnstile closed in 78. I don't know what the other ones did. They tried to renovate it, bring it back to life. Didn't work. So they failed. And so it was down to 20 stores, and then the mall just closed officially in November 1978. And J.C. Penney was the last anchor, and that closed about in January 1979. So that's when it was closed. And also there was shoplifting and there was theft. Horrible, you know. At the time when it closed, the school district used that as a school location because they were building a new school, and they were there for 2 years, and then they turned the Turnstile store into a gymnasium. Interesting, I never knew that. And then all of a sudden, around 1979, John Landis, the movie director, who I think he directed Animal House, wanted to make the movie Blues Brothers. And he got permission. I think he did, you know, at the village of Harvey to film it, and they did, and they were there, and then they brought it back to life, you know, as a real mall, even though it wasn't. And you remember the scene in the movie where they're being pursued by the police, and it's hilarious. And they're running through the stores, and you notice there was a Jewel, Toys R Us. I don't think Toys R Us was there. They just added that. In other stores. And then if you watch the movie real closely, you can see all the businesses there. I got to see it again. And it was hilarious. That's a hilarious scene. And all the merchandise they crashed through, it's fell on the floor. Awful. Yeah, they were chased by the state police troopers, you know, and it was a mess, you know, but it's still a funny place. And so I don't know if it was like complaints about it. Maybe it was. I don't know. But because they filmed it in Chicago, they also did that in the city and somewhere in the South Shore Country Club. And Jane Byrne was mayor at the time. She said, "Oh, I don't mind. Go ahead." She was a good sport about it. And so they filmed that movie there, and then later on, when it was abandoned, it got neglected. It was damaged by vandalism. It just got worse and worse. They took anything that wasn't nailed down. They just grabbed everything. They took the sign, that was removed, and that's awful. Like that, and they started tearing down bit by bit during the 80s, and they want to build a construction for a new police station. That didn't happen. They halted it because they found asbestos. I can't say the word, you know, and that's dangerous now. It has been for a while, and so it was a crime magnet. There was gangs and drugs in there. It was horrible. And they just ruined it. It was a dump. It was awful. But it's fascinating. You know what's about this mall? It's fascinating of its history. If you went there and you walk around, it's like, wow, it really was. Excuse me. Okay, but in the 90s, there were trees growing around. They had a fire in there, and the Woolworth store was still there, but the fire broke out there. And it destroyed the building and caused the roof to cave in, you know. So it's horrible. And so the suburb were trying to decide what to do with this property, and there was a lot of plans. They want to turn it into a YMCA or another big box like Costco or Kohl's or Target. Nothing, you know. At least to bring jobs in the area, but that didn't happen. And so they decided to tear it down, all of it. And they did that in 2012, and they demolished it, everything. So it's gone. And I don't know what they're going to do with it now. It's still an empty lot. So it's a shame. So What's fascinating about this place is you can go on the internet. There's a website called deadmalls.com, and there's a history of the Dixie Square Mall. And there's other sites like that. There's videos, and they find this mall fascinating, and not just in Chicago, but from the country. They love that. So that's interesting. Okay. So hopefully they'll build something soon over there. They need it. Okay, so that is all for today. I did a recap of last week's post on Vanished Chicagoland, and also talk about the Dixie Square Mall in Harvey, Illinois. All right, and I will do another podcast this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, maybe one or two. It's going to be busy. So this is Pete Costanza, your host of Vanished Chicagoland Stories, and thank you for joining me. I had a fun time talking about this. I still find it fascinating of the subject. So bye-bye for now from me. And here's Ray Rayner saying bye-bye for now. A little traveling music that's joined in with him. So so long, everyone. Take care.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.